And out at third, triple play. How about that? Swinging a ground ball, base hit through the left side. Here comes Sinclair around third. He'll score, and Jesse Winker and the Reds have tied it tonight. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Oh, this baby is crushed right center field, and the ball game is over.
Oh, well, guys, I guess it was bound to happen that we were going to have a late night Reds talk that one was now late night Reds talk and couldn't have gone worse. So Tim Dandrew here with Nick Kirby as always. And Nick, what the hell just happened? I don't know. We have, Tyler Mahle pitch a fantastic game, just awesome game where he is just terrific. And then from there, it just gets bad. Well, I shouldn't say that. TJ Antone pitched really well to the bullpen. But regardless, they lose 2 games today to the Arizona Diamondbacks after yesterday's game got pushed back. There was a game and a half in the standings in one day. Not ideal. And the bullpen brings up a lot of question marks and concerns.
Yeah, certainly not the 4 or 5 hours, however long today was that you wanted. Tonight's game, losing a game of 3-0 in the ninth. I mean, that's kind of like the game on Saturday where the Reds just completely stole one from the Indians. Mm-hmm. The Diamondbacks stole one from you tonight. I mean, it's baseball; it happens. Certainly, a lot of concern with Amir Garrett. We'll get into that and that decision by Bell a little bit more, but a lot of concern there. I don't know if I have as much concern about the bullpen as a whole, especially with Antone and Sims in it right now. But yeah, definitely some concern. You're going to have these kind of games. 162 game baseball season. Thank God it's not 60 games. Where this loss is just magnified. You get a chance to come back out tomorrow. And then the Reds are going to have a really, really difficult schedule after tomorrow. So tomorrow's a really, pretty big game for the Reds to at least salvage the series and then, go play the Cubs and Dodgers in a really brutal schedule coming up.
Yeah, I mean, so, it's one thing, like you said, it's baseball, things happen. Losing 4 of the 5 games you played so far to Arizona, who is not very good. And then, not to mention, you have Josh Van Meter, who friggin' keeps them alive and takes them the extras, and it's just unreal. Not to mention the Mark Payton base running blunder where that was just maddening. So there's a lot of frustration from this one. Like you said, yes, it's only game 17 of the year. I saw someone tweeted earlier. I think someone who worked for a Cincinnati news station. They're well, they're in second place with the Pirates coming up on them. Remember tonight? I'm guys, the Pirates still suck. It's not like the Pirates got really good overnight. So I'm not necessarily losing sleep over the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm sorry. But yeah, man, also Barry Larkin tonight being House made the right move in sending Peyton. I'm he saw him stop. It wasn't like he was going full blast and got beat by a step. So that was not good TV for Barry Larkin tonight.
I was honestly they're showing it right now on the replay over and over again. Someone pointed out to me, I wasn't really even thinking about it. Someone pointed out to me that Peyton was making sure that ball was dropped because he didn't want to get doubled up, trying to get back to second base or get stuck
with 2 outs.
A pickle, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't look at that close. I'm not sure I really care. I mean, the Reds had already blown a 3-0 lead. Regardless, you can't send him there. I mean, that was a really bad send, especially after he had a really bad game on Saturday too. But yeah, just a lot of things go wrong. Hey, positive spin on things. If the playoffs started today, the Reds would still be in the playoffs. They would be the second wild card. They'd be the second wild card team. They would be playing against the San Francisco Giants. So that won't hold. But yeah, I mean, tough weekend, especially it wouldn't be as tough of a 2 days if the Brewers didn't just go sweep the
Right.
Padres and look like just this incredible pitching staff that they're clicking on all cylinders right now with their rotation. I think that to me, them sweeping is almost as maybe worse than the Reds, dropping 2 games just because, it's just, 2 straight games, going the opposite direction. And all of a sudden, you had a nice little lead in the standings or, we felt comfortable for day after day after day in first place. And all of a sudden you look up and you're a game and a half back out of nowhere. But when tomorrow Brewers are off, you'll be back within a game and, there's a lot of games left.
Yeah, I would definitely, if you had told me, even April 1st, that I'd be confident in a getaway game with Jeff Hoffman on the mound, I've been like, you're crazy. But I'm confident with Jeff Hoffman on the mound tomorrow. I don't know, I've been to his 2 home starts so far. There's 2 of the 3 games I've attended. He's obviously looked really good in both those games. He helped him with the stick on Friday. That was nice to see. So, yes, we said positive reinforcement because we're going to do our best through the frustration of tonight. To kind of err on the side of positivity. I feel good about what we've seen from Jeff Hoffman so far. So I don't have any. And look, if for some reason they get swept to the Diamondbacks, yes, it's frustrating, but it's not the end of the season by any means. Like Nick said, tomorrow's the 18th game of the year, so everyone who's already ready to give up on Eugenio Suarez after 60 at bats and Amir Garrett after not even 6 innings and all this stuff. It's just, you can't be excited about Tucker Barnhart's start with his limited at bats and then be upset about Eugenio Suarez with his limited at bats. It's just not how it works this early in the year.
Yeah, the Reds have the 4th best run differential in baseball right now. So it's, it's one of those things, a bad series, you're going to have these bad series. You're going to have series like the Indians where you probably shouldn't have won that series and you somehow do. You hope at the end of the year, you have more of those things go right than others. But hey, the Reds they got some cachet early in the year from taking care of business against the Pirates, a Pirates team that has played really well. They've won 6 of their last 10. So they're not just a team that loses every night. Hey, they've stacked up some stuff, and hopefully they can get a win tomorrow. And then they're going to have some tough competition, but at least. I feel really good about the rotation right now.
Yeah, I do too.
So at least you're going into these series with we got the Cubs and we got the Dodgers. At least you're going in. I feel really good about the rotation. Sonny Gray's back. Looked pretty sharp in his first start. Tyler Mahle tonight pitched outstanding.
He was great.
Has just been outstanding in all 4 starts this year. Looks like he's really last year he took a big step, but it was a short season. It's starting to I think justify more that big step of last year, that it wasn't just kind of that small sample fluke. He looks really, really good. And then Luis Castillo has not been as bad as some of his numbers,
Right.
might indicate. Luis Castillo is going to be a good pitcher. He has an ERA over 4 in his career in April. So this isn't, something unexpected. In his first year with the Reds, he didn't even pitch in April, so it's not like he had like a really bad first year. Like that's pretty normal for him. And then Jeff Hoffman's been pretty solid. Wade Miley has been outstanding to this point. So you have a pretty good rotation. You have two guys in the bullpen I think we all feel really good about, in TJ Antone and Lucas Sims. And I know we talked a lot about Antone last week and, going to the rotation. I mean, I don't like keeping a guy in the bullpen out of desperation. I don't feel like that's a great strategy, but at the same time, you put him in the rotation, man, your bullpen really, really is Lucas Sims and Lucas Sims. I mean, I mean, I know they have some other guys that have some talent that have pitched decent. But maybe that was kind of the Reds' thinking. It's kind of making a little more sense. Hey, we might really have to have TJ Antone in the bullpen, at least for a while, just to, have us not cost as many games. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mad at TJ Anderson for that home run last night because that was a rocket. That dude, like, what did they say? Let the bat at like 110 miles an hour, I think it was. So, and that happens. It's baseball. I guess that's the theme of this. So I did tell you when I was texting you earlier, I did a little bit of a compare and contrast so far this year for Tyler Mahle and one former Cy Young winner of the Cincinnati Reds, Trevor Bauer. And I figured you, of all people, would definitely appreciate these stats. Someone who's here. What's up to Chad Dotson joining us here in the room? Chad,
The
how are you? Thanks for
legend.
joining. Yeah. We also got Matt and Kyle in here. Matt, Kyle, Chad, if anyone wants to talk, speak, questions, let us know. We're happy to have you join us and talk and answer some things with us. So let me see if I can get these pulled up real quick. All right, here it is. Tyler Mahle so far this season, 1.74 ERA, 0.87 WHIP, 31 strikeouts, an opponent batting average of 131, and against lefties, opponent batting average of 0.40. Trevor Bauer this year, a 2.42 ERA with a 6.615 WHIP, 36 strikeouts, a 114 opponent batting average, and a .100 against left-handed batting. So, obviously I'm not saying Mahle is better than Trevor Bauer, but this is just our theme we've made that we've been kind of talking about. Everyone's like, the Reds fans out there who are like, well, they lost Bauer, this and this. And Nick and I have been saying, like, we said there was two guys that they were just capable of being as good as Bowers on a nightly basis. And right now we're seeing three. So, I know Castillo hasn't been there just yet, but we've seen this in the past. And like you said, Sonny Gray looks solid in his first start for being his first major league game. So, that top three right now, that's something to be excited about for sure.
Yeah, I don't think the rotation is at all going to be a problem with this team, especially in the division that they play in.
Right.
This division is not a good division for offense. I mean, this is one of the worst divisions, I think, offensively in baseball. So yeah, I think the Reds rotation that's by far the least of my worries. I think criticism of the Reds not signing Bauer, I feel like that's kind of a reach in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now them not getting a legit major league shortstop. We saw another misplayed ball by Suarez tonight. And it just hasn't been Suarez. The entire infield defense has really been bad. India, after looking, really confident and great the first week, has looked like a rookie. No fault of his own. But he's looked like a rookie, and the infield defense has really been shaky. And then, the Reds, basically giving away Raisel Iglesias and non-tendering Archie Bradley. Those are the moves that sting to me more than Bauer, because the Reds were never signing Bauer. The Reds were never signing Bauer, so it's honestly just a weird thing to even talk about at this point.
Yeah, I agree. My point was, he's getting the contract he got obviously to be in LA, and Tyler Mahle is putting a very similar stat line here still with tons of years of ownership for the Reds front office. So
yeah,
I'll take it.
One interesting thing is Tyler Mahle and Luis Castillo are actually free agents at the same time. Does that seem right? It doesn't seem right, does it?
No.
Yeah, just because I guess the way they were called up and the way their service time and everyone went, they are both free agents after the 2023 season. So the Reds have this year, next, and then one more year. And they are both free agents at the same time. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. It didn't feel that way.
Oh boy, I can already read the headlines in 2023. Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be fun. All right, man. So let's kind of go through real quick. We'll talk about some of the topics we had listed for tonight because we just had to get that stink out of our, of this game tonight. I know we kind of talked a little bit more about the last week, like we already talked about a little bit. No one's going to be upset at the Reds for losing to Shane Bieber when he is just incredible right now. It just happens.
They scored 3 runs off him.
Yeah, they did. And, Naquin had a bomb against them, and I thought they looked pretty good. And just Bieber was Bieber, 13 Ks, the reason he won a Cy Young last year. So no one's going to fault him there. Obviously, like you said, that game Saturday. So I was in the process of getting my engagement pictures on Saturday, and I was in Smale Park, so like right outside the ballpark. So all I could hear is like crowd reaction and what's going on. So I'm like, I knew they were down 2-0. I knew so kind of seeing them make the comeback more and more. I'm sorry, 2-1, because I forgot about the Barnhart homer. And I just kind of could hear everything going on. And so I was like, oh, okay, cool. Have you ever been that close to a ballpark where there's crowd screaming and you have no reaction? It's pretty stressful.
Yeah, I went to one opening day and stood outside a long, long time ago, and yeah, it's pretty weird. One just weird quick story about that. Actually, people who don't know, I live in the Cleveland area, and back in 2019, I came down for a weekend, and I had tickets to go to the Saturday game. Well, my mom wanted to do like a special thing with the family, so Friday night she did like a riverboat cruise where it's just like you just go right up and down the the Ohio River, and you have dinner. It's a nice little thing. And so we did that on Friday night, and Friday night was Nick Senzel's debut. So I was on
Oh,
a
I was at that
riverboat
game.
looking at GABP for Nick Senzel's debut, and literally, like, I'm not in Cincinnati very often. It's that close, but not there. That was pretty brutal.
That is, yeah, I was at that game that night. I remember them losing in extras.
Yeah, it didn't turn out to be a great game, so I guess I probably saved some heartache, but.
Yeah. So Kyle, I see your question there. Is there any chance the Dolo is coming up this season? If I remember correctly, when Jeff Carr, and Carlos did our predictions for this year, we all said that we believed he would be up at some point this year. I don't. But the question right now is like, are you going to throw him in the bullpen? Like, is that the way the rotation's going right now? I don't know like where he necessarily fits at this moment, but it's early. Things can shake itself out, and we got to see how he's going to do it. I think he's starting the year in Chattanooga, so we got to really kind of see how everything shakes out before we go that crazy. But Kyle, I will say there is definitely a chance. I am just not a betting man that's smart enough to put a percentage on that chance.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, it's going to be later in the year. It's not going to be, you know, they're calling him up in the next month. I mean, I guess unless there was he was decimated with starting pitching injuries. But at that point, if you're calling him up, your prospects of doing well in 2021 probably aren't great. So,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's kind of talk about the Castellanos ruling for a minute. I know we've been talking about it for a couple weeks, but we saw the appeal. You and I kind of talked about this. We both believed it'll be, just a one game and that they would shorten it. And obviously, getting both games. He'll be back for Thursday, by the looks of things. And we also were kind of shocked at how long the process necessarily took for this. The fact that it was the suspension was announced the Monday of the Pirates series on the 5th, and we just got their ruling on the 19th or the 20th. So pretty unbelievable of a process. We've all seen the pictures of Yachty grabbing his neck. We've seen all the Castellanos family on Twitter. Shout outs to them for being awesome. I've really loved seeing all their reactions and their frustrations with this. But we can move forward because tomorrow he should be in the lineup in Arizona, in the final Arizona game. But yeah, still the consistency of Major League Baseball's excellent ruling of suspensions continues.
yeah, and then it's compounded by last night when you see Lucas Sims out on the field pitching in a torrential downpour, and the reason Nick Castellanos was suspended was because the MLB hid behind the health and safety protocols, and then you're watching that. And I know anyone who's on Twitter has seen all this stuff, so forgive me, but for those who maybe don't follow us close that are listening in, the Padres and Dodgers, they had a benches clearing incident. There was a punch, but they had their entire teams were out on the field together. No one got suspended from that. So there's no consistency with that. And I don't know. It's one of the most bizarre suspensions. I don't really think it costs the Reds all that much. I think Castellanos could have used a day off. Probably not two. But I don't think the Reds still scored several runs, and they scored 5 today, and they scored 4 yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they still scored some runs without him in there. I don't think it really necessarily cost you the game. It's just more the principle, just kind of like everything that could have gone wrong against the Reds in the last 2 days has gone wrong against the Reds, and you'll have that in a baseball season. So hopefully something goes their way next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I just want to make sure we touch on that. And obviously now we know Moose is out for a little bit. Um, you know, you talk like you said, that just adds to the everything that's going wrong could go wrong, and seeing him like
Yeah,
get
with
scratched and
yeah with Moose being out, obviously with Castellanos being suspended, I mean, you really didn't have to like move around your field at all because you could still have Naquin and Senzel in the lineup. Um, but I know I've been clamoring about it, since before opening day, since last year. But I think the Reds have to play Nick Senzel at third base, whether they want to or not. Um, doesn't sound like Moustakas is going to be back in a couple days. Sounds like it's going to be a little while. I think he should be playing third base, and Naquin should be playing center field, at least against right-handed pitching. There's no reason to have one of Naquin or Senzel on the bench and Kyle Farmer in the lineup. There's no reason for
right.
that. And when you're down a key bat in your lineup, Moustakas was hitting really, really well.
Yeah.
You can't afford any wasted spots. And I know Kyle Farmer has done admirable, but he's still Kyle Farmer. So yeah, I mean, I hope the Reds are going to get creative with that, and make sure they're putting their best lineup on the field and not being, stubborn in that regard, because I think they really need to do that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm all for if we're gonna do the experiment of Suarez playing shortstop, then
Yeah.
let's just throw it around. Let's just give everyone
Yeah.
a shot at every other position that we can.
There's no way Senzel playing third base, the position he was drafted from out of college, the position that he was considered a great defensive player when he was drafted. There's no way that could be anywhere worse than Suarez at shortstop. So you can't hide behind the defense. I mean, Senzel did play an inning at third base on Saturday. I know it wasn't an emergency situation, or it was after the comeback, and Bill, I think, had done some double switches or whatever, but he did play him there, so it's still possible. So yeah, I hope they do that. I hope maybe we see that tomorrow. Although I suspect there might be an off day for someone else where they don't need to do that tomorrow, but we start getting into these Cubs and Dodgers series, especially the Dodgers. You need a good lineup on the field, and I think having Senzel and Naquin is your best lineup.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Like I said, anyone who's in the chat, any questions, anyone want to jump in and chat, send the invite to speak. Would love to have you on and get your thoughts on things by any means. But let's kind of go through real quick. We're going to talk about our levels of concern for some of the performances we've seen so far this year, taking into account that it is only 17 games. We've only played 17 games so far, and we have plenty of this marathon to go, of course, but just kind of get our thoughts on what we've seen from some players so far. And obviously the first one you see everyone panicking on is Amir Garrett. He's thrown 5 1/3, I think he's thrown this year, innings-wise. And It's been obvious the pitching's not there. He's not hitting his spots. He's giving up runs. Obviously, he gave up the 3-run homer to Josh Van Meter, of all people, tonight. Wow. But
Josh Van Meter's first career home run against a left-handed pitcher. First ever. He had never done that before.
Just turn the knife a little more, Nick. Yeah. So, your concern level of Amir Garrett at this point?
Well, I guess we're going like a 1 out of 10. I mean, I'd probably put it like, I don't know, maybe a 4 or 5. But I didn't think Amir Garrett was the Reds' best reliever before the season started.
Right.
So I guess you have to take that caveat. My worry with Amir Garrett was that he doesn't throw enough strikes. And, well, he really hasn't thrown enough strikes. So, I'm not, I'm not give up on Amir Garrett. I think he'll still probably end up having a quality season. But, I mean, at this point, he's definitely in the pecking order behind Sims and Antone. He might be down below even, Carson Fulmer at this point. Maybe even Jose De Leon, who I know neither one of those guys look great tonight, but they have at least thrown strikes for the most part. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, he needs to get some low leverage spots. I know I'm way in the minority and people think I'm nuts. I said it before it happened, and it came back to bite me. I didn't mind David Bell bringing Garrett tonight. This was a perfect situation for him. The Reds were up 3-0, ninth inning. Two left-handed batters due up. You know, you need Amir Garrett to be good if you're going to have a good bullpen. And, David Bell's trying to turn the ball over to him and gain some confidence. It was a move that's for, the long term of the team, the 162 games. And David Bell got burned by that tonight. I doubt David Bell gets burned. And I know David Bell said in the postgame, we still trust Amir Garrett. We're going to pitch him in that situation. But I think that was more, manager speak than anything. I can't imagine if we have, Jeff Hoffman go 8 innings tomorrow, which that's not going to happen. But Jeff Hoffman goes 8 innings tomorrow. We got 1 inning. Lucas Sims is getting the ball in the 9th inning. I don't think there's any question about that, unless they feel Anto can go 3 straight days, which I doubt that. But, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's right. That was a very, very long-winded way of saying, I guess, like probably a 4 or 5. What about you?
So I just want to make sure before I give my answer. You mentioned, you had Garrett underneath those guys, and I agree with you. You didn't mention Sean Doolittle. Do you still have Garrett above Sean Doolittle?
I forgot about Sean Doolittle. My apologies.
I was just making sure. Yeah,
that's
no
that's a good calling me out on that. Sean's been pretty good. Really got out of a huge jam. No, not a jam. It's the stupid 10th inning rule. On Saturday.
Yeah.
Came in with the runner on second base that started, got out of that inning. I see Sean Doolittle, and I see 2.70 ERA, 3.07 FIP. It's only 6.2 innings, but yeah, he's done a nice job. Yeah, he's definitely behind Doolittle. Doolittle, I guess, probably would be my. I guess Doolittle's a top left-handed reliever right now on the Reds. So. Perez has all the talent in the world. Perez and Garrett, I feel like, are kind of the same player. Ton of talent, just don't throw enough strikes.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so next discussion of the level of concern, panic level, is going to be, we'll keep on the pitching. We had 3 guys listed. Let's talk about Luis Castillo. We've already mentioned it. You and I both are not in the situation where we feel worried about this, the start. The defense has definitely not had his back, as you've seen. And, we saw it in a game this year already. He had a great 7-inning game already at home once this season, but where he pitched great. Weirdly enough, that was the game Tyler Stevenson caught him. But I don't know if I'm going to put much accountability into that by any means. I think he's just a really good pitcher. So, yesterday there's the error, and that causes a 3-run first. We obviously know about opening day. And, the Giants, he has a couple pitches that don't go his way on a call. So his next pitch he throws, of course, Brandon Belt of all people take him deep. I'm not at the point where I meant to say earlier, by the way, Garrett, I'm about a 5. Sorry, I totally skipped over that. I was just excited to keep going. I would say my Luis Castillo concern is like a 3, just because I feel like the defense hasn't done him any favors. He has struggled in April in the past. So, I made the joke last week, and it was just a joke. I was not saying that, Luis Castillo is Edinson Volquez. So I was just kidding. But yeah, I think he's going to be fine. He's great. And when he's on, there's very few pitchers in baseball better than him.
All right. So, I guess if a 0 is your level of concern, being like you think the same of the per player as opening day, I'm going to say a 0. I literally do not feel at all different about Luis Castillo now than I felt at 4:10 p.m. on opening day when he took the hill. I'm gonna nerd bomb some stats here, so bear with me.
Go for it.
So last 3 starts, so you take away opening day, he has a 2.81 ERA. I mean, like,
yeah,
2.81 ERA in the last 3 starts. And I know there's been some bad things in those starts, but he has a 2.81 ERA. His career, 4.43 in April. 2018, he had a 7.85 ERA in April. So this is not the first time he's had a slow start. And yeah, I mean, I think, as you said, you kind of go back to the defense. Yes, Luis Castillo has struggled with his command. And I think Barry Larkin actually brought up a pretty good point when he said he said during his start this week, sometimes Castillo throws too many strikes, which, yeah, I think he kind of does. Maybe he needs to at times. I think he might be trying to be a little too conscious of making sure he doesn't walk a guy to where he's just constantly throwing strikes. And if all you're doing is throwing strikes, it does make it easier for the hitter to always know the strike's coming. So I'm not at all concerned. But again, if you're talking about his command, struggling a little bit, where he's missing some pitches right over the middle of the zone. Well, when you compound two of his starts, the defense has completely failed him in the first inning, and that's the last thing you need when you're struggling with your command. It just it topples on top of that. So yeah, 0 for me.
Perfect. I appreciate you. I know that you don't put down the Luis Castillo flag, and I don't blame you a bit. So I'm there with you. And then on the hitting side, obviously, everyone's worried about Eugenio Suarez. 60 at bats this year. I mean, let's kind of keep that into account, guys. He's got a 167 with 2 homers, 5 ribeyes. He had the golden sombrero tonight. I know. He's got a 635 OPS, but this is a guy for his career. His OPS is more in that 812 area. Obviously, as talented as it gets. And, he's been an all-star. He's had 50 home run seasons. I appreciate that he, had the audacity to say, 49 home run season. He gave me the ball at short. That's just been terrible. And I don't necessarily blame him for that. I think it's just kind of being out of position. But overall, my concern level, I'm not gonna lie to you, is a little higher here. And I know we always say that we take 2020 out of the picture, but since his 271, 358, 572 season in 19, he's been pretty rough. And I get it. Last year was pretty, it's very hard to make a judgment of this year of that. And, this year has been pretty tough too. I'm not writing him off, but I'm kind of getting in that 4 area of concern where the defense and, he just looks overmatched. Every breaking ball, you see him just he's always early on swinging, it looks like. So I'm a little more concerned on old Suarez than I am the pitchers we discussed.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say I'm a 0. I'm very confident in Suarez, but I wouldn't say I'm a 0 like Castillo.
Right.
There has been some signs that are concerning. He has looked overmatched at times. I guess I would start off with this. People are saying he's striking out too much. Well, in 2019, he led the league in strikeouts. So
yeah.
when he had the 930 OPS, the 49 home run season. So he's going to strike out. That's why he hit so many home runs. If you tell Gino, don't strike out so much, well, you're not going to get 40 home runs. It's not going to happen. That's the good with the bad with that. And there's a lot more good, I think, than bad. I know that the 202 batting average looked so terrible last year. But Suarez ended up with a 781 OPS on the year, and he started so terrible last year. I think people forget how awful he looked last year. I think he looked worse last year, the first, 3-4 weeks of the season than he looked this year. Right now, I don't have the number right in front of me, but I tweeted something out earlier. After 16 games last year, his OPS was 586. It's well over 600 right now, so he's still been better than he was at this point last year. And then he pushed a 900 OPS the last month of the year. And I fully believe if last year would have been a 162 game season, I think at the end of the year, Suarez's numbers probably would have ended up looking pretty good. Now, I don't think he would have got that batting average up into like that 270, 280 range that he's been able to get at some of his best years. But yeah, I'm way more worried about Suarez's defense still.
Yes.
Than his offense. I think the offense will come. I think Suarez will probably have like a 3 home run night, and everyone's gonna be like, okay, he's back. It's gonna be like that. And that's what happened last year. He had that 3 home run game against the Pirates out of nowhere, and then he hit really well for the Reds down the stretch. Hit several big home runs during that big resurgence the last 2 weeks of the season to get into the playoffs. So I'm way more concerned about the defense. I know he's made a couple nice plays here and there, but you saw the Diamondbacks, and that was their backup shortstop that made that last play tonight to actually get Suarez out. That's what an MLB shortstop looks like, and Suarez just isn't that. And I'm way more concerned that over 162 games that costs way more runs than Jonathan India can provide offensively. The defense is definitely my bigger concern.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let's play the opposite end. We didn't talk about this. Let's just have some fun. All right, let's talk about if we believe this is for real or not for real. Let's talk about a few guys, and we're not going to mention Joey Votto because we both know that we feel very good about what he's doing at the plate right now. I know he had a no for tonight, but what we saw these past few days has been awesome. We've seen the approach change. That's neither here nor there. Like I said, we're not going to get too deep in the Vottos because we'll be here for 2 hours. We'll start at the top of the order, man. Everyone's loving what we're getting from Jesse Winker, myself included, that 953 OPS. I know he only has one homer, but he's been excellent in the leadoff role. He's doing what he needs to do. He's making he's moving people over. He's doing everything you need to see from Jesse Winker, and really, he's looked a little faster. I'm not going to go and say he's Deion Sanders, but it looks like he's done some work in the speed area. And I know he had a triple that was questionable scoring tonight, but. Winker, 953 OPS for the batting average, folk, 362. Maybe it's not that high all year, but I feel pretty good about Winker this year, especially coming off that 381 OBP last year.
Yeah, I mean, last year, the short season, Winker 146 weighted runs created plus, 100 is average. So last year, Winker was 46% better than league average. This year he's at 156, so 56% better than league average. Man, he just looks like an elite hitter. He almost. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know if I want to say this. I'm going to. He almost kind of looks like peak Votto. I don't know why I said that. But some of the way he just grinds out a plate appearance and just put solid contact on the ball. That triple that he hit tonight was just a phenomenal piece of hitting, going down and getting the ball and driving it the other way. Man, I love watching that guy hit. I think he's the real deal. I think he's elite. I don't know. I'm still not in the Jesse Winker needs to play every game and get every at bat against left-handed pitching, but I might even get there at some point. I'm that impressed with him.
What do you mean, Barry? I'm kidding. All right, and let's do the last one before we kind of move and have our fun topic at the end of the show. Instead of doing a player here, I'm going to do a position. The Reds catchers at the plate so far this year, looking really good swinging the lumber. Tyler Stevenson obviously had a walk-off Saturday. He's rocking that 987 OPS after a 986 last year in 40 games. And then you got Tucker Barnhart on the other end right now, who's also throwing up that really, really nice stretch so far with a OPS over at 1.088. We know normally his career he hits about that, he's at 700 area. What do you think, man? This has been good for this has been fun to see for these guys.
Yeah, the catching spot's been phenomenal. And, with Senzel and India really struggling, they have really carried the bottom of the Reds order. We talked on that first podcast. Oh, man, the Reds lineup just looks so long. And then with Senzel and India slowing down and then some injuries and suspensions and all that other nonsense, it's really been the catchers that have really carried that bottom of the order. Tucker Barnhart has just been phenomenal. I can't be more impressed with him. He has over 1,000 OPS right now. He had a 943 OPS last September. So he seems to have made some really good adjustments to the plate. I'm not ready to say Tucker Barnhart is a great hitting catcher. But his expected stats have him just slightly above league average. So he's not, been the 1,000 OPS guy, but a catcher that's hitting above league average is a very, very good hitting catcher. Just an average hitting catcher is a very, very good hitting catcher. So you got him and you got Stevenson. That's been a great combo, and I think the Reds have really needed that with Senzel and India's struggles. And Senzel had 2 big hits tonight, so hopefully that's him turning the corner a little bit, because the Reds need those guys just to keep that lineup long, especially with Moustakas out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. It's just been a blast to see. We've been pretty high on Tyler Stevenson. We've talked about it quite a bit. So seeing Tucker Barnhart kind of do his thing too has made it pretty nice. So let's get to our final topic of the show here. Obviously, the news came out this week that Jay Bruce announced his retirement as a Yankee, which is still kind of weird, but neither here nor there. And I was kind of curious because I think how you and I actually became friends was you wrote that article on Red Leg Nation about Jay Bruce after he got traded to the Mets, and you going to his major league debut and you hearing about everyone talking about this big prospect who was the minor league player of the year and just has all these incredible stats in the minors, is now getting his chance to play. He's going to be in an outfield with Ken Griffey Jr. And that article was awesome. It made me I talked to you a lot on Twitter before that for a few years, but that was when I was like, okay, yeah, we're kind of the same way with brain length with this stuff. And that's how we kind of got to talking more and more. But there's so many awesome Jay Bruce Reds memories. Obviously, the easiest one people are going to bring up is the 2010 Clinch Miss, which we've talked about. We both were there. But kind of looking back now, man, on just some Jay Bruce memories and just the hot streaks that he would go on times. You remember that May in 2011 where he was just unstoppable. He got National League Player of the Month that month, and just so many walk-offs and big time plays, and got a lot of shit for his defense, but at times he flashed some really nice leather for the Reds in the right field there. What are some of your favorite Jay Bruce memories, not counting Clinch Miss, of course?
Well, I guess I'll share a little bit about that article. I won't go into too much, but yeah. So I grew up a huge Reds fan, like everyone I'm sure that's listening to this. But when I think it was in 1999, I think was the first year the Reds. Of course, 1999 was the first year that they went away from broadcasting games over the air. They went exclusively to cable, and my family didn't have cable growing up, so that was kind of into my high school years. I graduated high school in 2005, so I honestly in high school I really kind of lost touch with the Reds. When you can't watch them every night and you're in high school, it's kind of hard to keep tabs on them. So yeah, I really honestly didn't watch a whole lot of the Reds after the first couple Griffey years. And then I went to college, and I kind of had some friends in college that were big baseball fans and kind of started getting me more interested in it again. And I came home after my sophomore year in 2008, and I wanted to go to a baseball game. I was like, I really want to go to a baseball game. So I went to a baseball game, and it just happened to be Jay Bruce's debut. I had no idea who Jay Bruce was. And there wasn't a huge crowd there, but everyone there was there to see Jay Bruce, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And obviously, he had that incredible debut, and that hooked me. And I don't know. I mean, I was really trying to get back into baseball. Maybe I still would have got back into baseball, but Jay Bruce really solidified it. And I mean, I guess for that I'm forever grateful, or as my wife might be, forever hateful for Jay Bruce. I don't know, one of the two. For my obsession with baseball from this point on, but yeah, I mean, he was always just such an easy player to root for. One of the easiest players I think that the Reds have ever had to root for. He just always was a class act. And man, when he was hot, he was so fun to watch, and Clinch Miss, and even that, as painful it is, even that epic at bat in Game 5 of the 2012 NLDS. I mean, that was Jay Bruce. He grinded out that at bat, pitch after pitch, fouling it off. he was just a fun guy to root for. And, I'm sad his career, tailed off at the end. He didn't have as much life as I'm sure he would have liked to, but he still had a really good major league career, and the Reds got the best years out of him. So yeah, I can't wait till he's in the Reds Hall of Fame. He's a surefire Reds Hall of Famer, and be well deserved.
Yeah, and so there's a couple moments I really wanted to talk about, and you brought up that at bat in the Giants series and how painful it was, and how he went down to the wire and everything there. But I remember, I was going to bring up, so Game 2 in 2010, obviously we know what happens in Game 1. Halladay throws the no-hitter. And then they come back out in Game 2, and they're, winning for a while. Phillips hits a home run, hits a leadoff homer. Bruce hits a homer, I think, in the first or second inning. I can't remember the exact inning. But you kind of saw them, play really well. And, of course, I know what happens with the ball and the side, things like that. But seeing him respond and get that home run in the playoffs was huge. And then I remember I went to a game against the Mets in 2012. You'll laugh at this because you might remember the game just because, 2012 was such a memorable year. They're playing the Mets, and it was 0-0 in the bottom of the ninth. And Bruce hit a walk-off three-run home run opposite field to beat them. Yeah. I was at the game. Matt Latos pitched in the game through 7 innings. Jose Arredondo got the win. If that can tell everybody.
Jose Arredondo.
Yes.
Legend.
Just so many cool moments like that, man. Like you said, when he was on those tears, he was just so awesome to watch. And, the Reds definitely got his best years. And, he played a couple All-Star games as a Red, which is pretty cool. And I got lucky to meet him a couple times, just fan events and things like that. There was one, I was a season ticket holder of the homestand. It was it was right after the All-Star game in Cincinnati. So I was at batting practice, and Frazier and him came up and hung out with me and talked to me and signed a bat for me. And they were awesome dudes. And so I definitely am appreciative of the Jay Bruce years. And I'm sure I'll be sitting right next to you if our wives allow us to go to the game together. And he's inducted in the Reds Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. I'm all for that.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to make sure we gave a shout out to Jay. Thanks for an awesome 10 years of Red and a great career. But other than that, man, I think I'm done bitching about the tough game tonight and ready to turn the page and go to tomorrow and get ready for this road trip.
Yeah, get a win tomorrow. And then the Reds got, a difficult schedule, but hey, these are the kind of games you win. They feel bigger. They feel like they're bigger wins. And I don't think the Cubs are necessarily any juggernaut. So, hopefully the Reds can play well this weekend, get into that Dodgers series. And that's going to be a really fun series. It's going to hopefully it'll be a really fun series. It'll be interesting to watch and kind of see how the Reds stack up. And remember, the Reds had a 4-game sweep against the Dodgers in 2018 in Los Angeles. So it's baseball. Anything can happen.
Remember in 19 when they swept the Astros at home?
Yeah. I mean,
that was awesome.
Yeah, and that's why, again, I've harped on it a million times, and I'm sorry, but hey, the Reds sweeping the Pirates is a big deal. You have to take care of business. These teams are all major league teams.
Yeah, everyone's got major league contracts out there. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Nick, thank you as always. I greatly appreciate it. I know we went for a late night Reds talk tonight compared to normal due to unforeseen circumstances of bullpen and implosion. But we got it in. We're excited. We'll talk to you guys next week. So when we record next Wednesday, they'll be leaving LA after a 4-10 game. I haven't seen the pitching matchup yet, but we're all looking for that one guy on the Dodgers to see if he's potentially pitching in that matchup. So we'll see what happens. Have a good night, everyone.